Hey guys, in my last video I did a deep dive where I tested the new 2-star gem, the Crimson Behelit, which we got as part of the Berserk Diablo collaboration, and this gem is very strong, and I'm sure that a lot of players will be wondering how to get it up to rank 10 as fast as possible. So in this video I'll be sharing all of the strategies that I'm going to be using to get this gem to rank 10. A lot of them are actually going to be free to play viable, so do watch this video. I'm going to be speed running through all of the strategies as fast as I can. So let's go ahead and get started before I start laughing again at that gem. You can see here, if we click on the gem in my inventory and we click on the get more button, just like with the Mornskull event, we have three options, which are Elder Rift, craft legendary gems, and purchase from the market. So for the first one, the Elder Rift is pretty simple. If you run legendary crests, there's a chance for you to get the Crimson Behelit gem, and for a 2-star it's roughly a 20% chance to get any random 2-star of your choice, and that's if you run an Eternal or a Legendary Crest. You can see the chance here, it's roughly 20.1% chance. In my opinion, relying on Legendary Crests isn't really a great strategy because, first of all, it's only a 20% chance, but not only that, we also have a bunch of 2-star Legendary Gems in the pool, and it's not really guaranteed that you can get a Behelit gem. I'm not too sure what they will do with the drop pool. Maybe they will increase the drop pool. I'm not too sure about that, but I can't remember if they did that from Mornskull. But either way, I would not recommend you to run Crests just to get this gem. If you also want to get some other gems in the meantime, then it could be good, but running Crests is not really a good strategy. The other thing to worry about is that getting this gem with Crests is only going to be available during the Stroller Path event while it's active. So this is going to be active from the 1st of May until the 31st of May. So it's only during the month of May where you can actually get this gem as a drop from Elder Rift, as far as I understand. This is what happened with Mornskull. It was removed from the drop pool after the Eternal War event ended, so I can expect that the same is going to happen with the Behelit gem. Elder Rift isn't really a great way to get this gem, so let's quickly move on to the next two ways. So for the next two ways, you have craft legendary gems and also purchase from the market. So I've moved over to the market here. As you can see, I'm already watching a Crimson Behelit gem, but as you can see, once the patch goes live, we will actually have the Behelit gem as part of the market here, and you will be able to sell these. I do expect the price for these to be extremely high, so yeah, they can go up to 16k per copy, which is going to be insane. But honestly, this isn't really going to be a great method just because of the insane price, which I can kind of see happening. Maybe if you're trying to be like a scalper and flip these, then it could be a decent opportunity. Maybe you can buy them for low and then sell them once the event has ended. But honestly, I wouldn't really bother with this. It's just too expensive in my opinion, unless you have a bunch of platinum lying around and you want to try your luck with that. So honestly, we can also exclude the last option here, which is the purchase from the market. This leaves us with the final option, which is to craft legendary gems. There is also one more option, which is to buy from the shop, and I'll be going through that at the end of the video. But the main option, in my opinion, is to craft the legendary gem directly, the Crimson Behelit. So let's quickly move over to the jeweler here. So if we go to the jeweler here, and go to gem services and then go to the craft menu, you can see here that we're able to craft basically any of the 2-star gems and also any of the 1-star gems. And unfortunately, I don't see the Behelit gem in this test build here, but I could definitely see it. I can see Mornskull here, which shouldn't be there. Basically, I believe that the Behelit gem will be as an option here instead of the Mornskull gem, and it will cost you 80 Telluric Fragments. So I believe that all 2-star gems cost 80 fragments, whereas the 1-star gems cost you 20 fragments. So we're interested only in the 2-star, and to craft any 2-star, you need 80 of these Telluric Fragments. So then the question then becomes, how do we get as many Telluric Fragments as possible? So I'll answer that question, but before I do that, I just want to stress that basically this gem is only going to be craftable in this menu as part of these gems while the event is active, and after the event is active during the month of May, after it ends, this gem will no longer be craftable using Telluric Fragments. It's going to be the same way how Mornskull was, where Mornskull is only craftable using the Telluric Pearls, which are a lot harder to actually find. They look like this. I'll just show it to you guys if you guys aren't aware, but it looks like this, and it's going to cost you 4 Telluric Pearls, just like it is with Mornskull to craft currently after the event ends, and it's very costly to craft with these pearls here. So I would try to craft as many as possible with the Telluric Fragments that you have saved up or that you get during the event before you craft with the pearls here. And I will be going over the pearl crafting really quickly, but let's stick to the Telluric Fragment crafting for now, and then I'll go back to the pearl crafting later in the video. So I've gone ahead and moved over to the Elder Rift entrance just so we can talk more about the fragment crafting. So for the fragment crafting, the ways you can get fragments is by running the rare crests, and each rare crest you run will give you 4 fragments, as you can see here. So basically every 20 rare crests that you run will give you the 80 fragments which are required to craft. So for every 20 you can craft 1 copy of the Crimson Behelit. And also for legendary crests, so if we remove the rare crest here and put in this eternal legendary crest, you can see that it's also giving you 1 Telluric fragment compared to the 4 that you get from rare crests. So this doesn't matter if you run a normal legendary or eternal, it's always giving 1 per crest. So it might also be worth running these, but the main way to get Telluric fragments, and in my opinion the best way, is to run your rare crests. And the good thing is that even if you have run the rare crests before this event, you will still have the Telluric fragments as long as you haven't used them for crafting. So I believe that on my main account I have about 1.6k Telluric fragments saved from the crest that I've ran, and I also have almost 200 rare crests which I'll be running during this event to get even more fragments. And I believe that while this isn't the highest, I will still be able to make quite a huge dent into crafting as many copies of this as possible, just to get it ranked up as much as I can. But the good thing is that while the event is active, you will be able to claim your free daily crest here, and you will also be able to buy the weekly crest from the Hilts Trader. So if you go up to the Hilts Trader here in this corner, I think it's 14 rare crests per week that you can get as a standard player, and then if you're Immortal you can also gain 7 more crests per week. So if you do have your Hilts saved, you can get a lot of Hilts from your battle pass, for example. Then you can buy these 14 crests here, just like so. I'll show it here. You can buy 14 of these, and then if you're Immortals you can also buy an extra 7 from this tab. Obviously I'm not Immortal currently on the test build, but you can buy an extra 7 per week here, and then also you can get potentially a limited time crest here. I believe that these refresh every 14 hours or so, I'm not too sure, but these refresh basically twice a day, and you can also pick up 1 extra rare crest here. And it's, in my opinion, it's really worth buying these rare crests, especially while this event is active and while you're trying to get hold of that gem. So aside from rare crests, which I believe is the best way, there is also another way to gain Telluric fragments, and that is by using your Fading Embers. So quickly, what are Fading Embers? So Fading Embers, basically there's 2 types of Fading Embers. There's the base weekly limit and the bonus weekly limit. The base weekly limit is really easy to explain. You just get 8 Fading Embers per rift that you run. It doesn't matter if you're running with crests or without crests, you're always getting 8 towards this per rift. And then for the bonus weekly limit, anyone in your party using a crest will grant bonus Fading Embers from up to a maximum of 10 crests per player per Elder Rift. So this is really important. Basically, you want to be running 10 crests if you can with your party members, so you can get up to a maximum of 40 towards this per Elder Rift that you do. So if each player runs 10 crests, then you can get 40, like I said, and this will quickly cap your weekly limit. So basically try to cap both of these. It's pretty easy to do. Even as a free-to-play, you can cap both of these, and you can get up to 400 Fading Embers per week. So why am I talking about Fading Embers? Well, if you save up your Fading Embers, and you can even do this before the event starts, once you have enough Fading Embers, you can go to this NPC here, or I believe even the jeweler NPC. If you talk to this person here, it says trade Telluric Fragments, and every 5 Fading Embers that you have will give you Telluric Fragments. So you can see right now I only have 10, but basically I can trade 10 of these for 2. Let's just quickly do that. So there we go. Now I have 2 Telluric Fragments. So basically what this means is that with the 400 weekly ones that you can get, you can have up to 80 Telluric Fragments per week if you cap that, which is basically going to allow you to craft 1 copy of the Crimson Behelit gem. So technically, while the event is active, as long as you cap this, you can get up to 4 copies from the Fading Embers if you haven't saved any before, which is really good in my opinion. Before I move on to talk about crafting with Telluric Pearls, I think it's important to look out exactly how many copies are required to reach from rank 1 to rank 10 for this gem. So if you take a look at the DI Tools website, it's a website that I really like to use, and it gives me a lot of help when I'm doing this kind of thing. So going from rank 1 to rank 10, I'm going to use Mornskull as the example here, but obviously we're trying to rank up Crimson Behelit. Going from rank 1 to rank 10 for the 2-star gem requires 41 copies of the 2-star gem, and it also requires roughly 700, almost 700 gem power to craft. We're more interested in the copies for now, so 41 copies seems like quite a lot, but if you have saved your Telluric Fragments and your Rare Crests or your Fading Embers, this should be doable, especially if you have been doing so for the last couple of months, just like I recommended in my Mornskull video to do, because it was pretty obvious that they were going to add more gems like this, and I won't be surprised if there will be more gems added like this in the future when they do more collaborations. Last time it was the WoW collaboration, this time it's Berserk. So if we say that there's 41 total copies required, well, some really good ways to just get copies outright is going to the Struggler's Path here, and just from the Struggler's Path, you can actually get rewards which include a copy of this gem here. So as you can see here, I've got a copy here which I haven't claimed yet, but just for logging in during this event, you'll get all of these rewards here, and I'll be talking about this in a separate video. So you can get one copy here, and you can also get another copy from the Apostles Challenge. So this is from actually defeating the Nosferatu Zod, and he will give you, he has a chance to be able to drop a Crimson Behelit, and basically you can only get one of these per person, so per player you can only get one of these while the event is active. So basically you'll be able to get 2 copies of this gem, one from the rewards and one from the Apostles Challenge. So if we say that the 41 copies now goes down to 39, so how many fragments exactly will that cost you? So if we do 39 times 80, you get 3.1k fragments, which is roughly 780 rare crests, which does honestly seem like a lot, but I do believe that a lot of players will be able to do this, especially because we have a whole month for the event. And who knows, possibly they might even extend this event. We'll see. Last time they did extend the Eternal War event. This is just speculation on my part. I have no information about this myself, but who knows, they might actually be nice and actually extend this event for us. So that's kind of where I am with the crafting, and that's kind of all the strategies that I'm going to be using personally. I want to move on now to talk about crafting Crimson Behelit with pearls. Like I said, I don't really recommend this method, but sometimes it's going to be a necessary evil, because the only way to get this gem after the event ends is with crafting with pearls. So as far as pearls go, the only way you can get pearls is from the Hilt Trader. That's one of the ways, with a weekly pearl, and you can also get it from a lot of the in-game events like the Event Center, or they've now renamed it to every month it has a different name, but basically you can get it from the Event Center or from the shop if you buy some bundles. So by the Event Center, I mean the it's called this is bugged here, but obviously it will be this expedition here, and then as you rank up here, you can see that you can get some pearls from some of these events here. So you can get a few of these from the game, and basically every 4, like I said, will enable you to craft one of the Crimson Behelit gems. So unfortunately there is an issue which exists to this day for the Mornskull gem, and that is that unlike the 5-star gems that you can just go to the jeweler and craft these 5-star gems from the Telluric craft menu, it isn't as straightforward for Mornskull, and I'm not sure if it's going to be the same for the Crimson Behelit gem, but basically you can't outright craft Mornskull or Crimson Behelit just using 4 pearls, unfortunately. Blizzard, if you're listening, please fix this issue. A lot of players are asking to be able to craft Mornskull and they have no copies, and it's just extremely expensive. But if it will be the same way for the Crimson Behelit gem, basically the warning that I gave, if you've watched my last video, you already know about this. For the Mornskull Pearl crafting, I do recommend, if you haven't seen that video, to check it out. For every rank 5 or rank 3 gem that you need in the upgrade process, you need 1 copy of the gem. In this case, it's going to be the Crimson Behelit, so you need 1 copy for each rank 3 or rank 5 that you need in the upgrade process, just to basically jumpstart and kickstart the process to be able to craft this. I kind of explained it in the Mornskull video. I'm not going to explain it here again, but the way to know how many copies you'll need to keep is actually by looking at the DIA Tools website. And just looking at Mornskull as an example, going from rank 1 to rank 10 requires a total of 6 copies of rank 3 and 8 copies of rank 5. And like I said, to jumpstart each of these upgrade process, getting rank 3 and getting rank 5, you need 1 copy of the gem. So basically you need 6 copies to get all of the rank 3 copies, and you need 8 copies to get all of the rank 5 copies. And as one of my viewers said in the Mornskull video, credit to Peter Hull, he said that basically we need 14 copies of this gem to be able to go from rank 1 to rank 10 just using the pearls. And if you do have at least 14 copies, if we do 41 minus the 14, that requires 27 extra copies, which we can craft using pearls at that point. And you will need a total of 108 pearls, which is obviously quite a huge expense in my opinion. So this is not really recommended, but sometimes, like I said, this will be the only option for some players who haven't saved up their rare crests. So just beware that you will need to keep your copies at rank 1 and then use pearls after the event ends, unless Blizzard actually changes something and fixes the issue that we have currently, which is that you're not able to craft the rank 3s or rank 5s unless you have 1 copy. So hopefully Blizzard fixes that issue, but if you're as pessimistic as I am, then I will be keeping a few copies of rank 1 handy, especially for the final rank, going from rank 9 to rank 10. I'm going to be keeping at least 3 copies. I believe that I will be able to get to rank 9 directly with the Telluric Fragments and the rare quest that I have saved, but just to get the 3 copies of rank 5, I'm going to be keeping 3 copies of rank 1, the Crimson Behelit gem. I know that this is a bit confusing, but unfortunately this is the way that it is currently in the game. Finally, before I end the video, there is one more way to get your hands on copies of Crimson Behelit, and that is just to outright use the shop. So I don't want to shield too much for the game, so I've left this to the end of the video. But basically, if you go to the shop here, and if you go to bundles here, you can see that there are already a few bundles for the gem. As always, the rewards and also the prices are subject to change, and these might not actually be the prices that we get when the patch goes live. We'll have to wait and see. But you can see there's quite a lot of bundles here. This one has 4 copies, 2 copies, another 2 copies here, 1 copy here and another copy here, so that's quite a lot of copies that you can get. And then there also is most likely going to be a login bundle also, just like we had for the last new gem that we had, which was the Colossus Engine. Now we have one for the Crimson Behelit. Looks like this one's going to give us another 4 copies, so 1 copy on day 2 and then 3 copies on day 14. So basically 4 copies in total from this. So there are quite a lot of options if you are a spender to be able to get your hands on this gem. But basically, I think that that's everything that I wanted to cover in this video, guys. If I have missed something out or you have any strategies that you'd like to share yourselves, as always, you can leave them in the comments below. One thing which I forgot to test is the actual range of the fear effect in PvE. So it says that the fear effect affects nearby monsters and it makes them flee for 1.6 seconds. So let's just actually see how this works in challenge rifts in practice. So I'm just in challenge rift 1 for now, and I'm going to try to group up some mobs here. Let's try to make a decent sized pool. So this is looking okay with this yellow mob here. So let's actually get them to hit me here so I lose 50% of my life, and then once I've lost 50% of my life, I should be able to actually fear them. So I'll just speed this up here because obviously they're not doing too much damage. This is just Challenge Rift 1 for now. So here we go, I'm almost at 50% life now, and the flee effect should be proccing with the mercy effect. And it looks like it doesn't have that much effect in PvE, as you can see, so I believe that that's actually pretty good in this case, because in challenge rifts you don't want the mobs to be fleeing in fear. I believe that only the mob on the right there on the outside actually fleed, which was kind of strange. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to heal up. I'm going to heal up and then proc the Behelit's Wrath effect, which is on the 50% plus life. So let's just hit one of these mobs here. So there we go, now we can see more clearly the fear effect on the mobs there. And as you can see, they got blocked by the ward, so that's good to see. So it seems like in PvE, this effect won't be as annoying as we thought with the fear. And then in PvP, obviously, it's very good just to interrupt people while they're doing their damage rotation and stuff like that. So I just wanted to include this at the end of this video because I forgot to include it in the first video that I did. So hopefully this is helpful for people, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.